In the quiet moments, that's where I'll find a little room to breathe, leave it all behind. Give me room to breathe, I need some time to heal my heart, to clear my mind. Gonna love myself, yeah, I believe in the power of me. Just give me room to breathe.
Great new day to all my self-care family and friends. Welcome back to another Room to Breathe podcast. I am your host, Life Coach 614, and I am so happy that you've made space to be here with us today. Now, before we get into today's episode, do me a quick favor. If you're feeling the vibes, go ahead and show us some love. Tap the screen, like, comment. Most importantly, I need you to share this out with someone who may need a little healing energy today. And if this is your first time here, or you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that follow button. Subscribe to our channel so that way you're always tapped in when a new episode drops. I also want to personally invite you to check out our digital home at theselfcareclub.org, where you will find everything from affirmative apparel to motivational merch, as well as a bunch of free resources to help nourish your growth and remind you that you are supported every step of the way. Just know that you don't have to do this alone. We are healing in community, growing one breath, one moment, one day at a time. So today, I encourage you to give yourself permission to pause, to reflect, and to make space for peace, for growth, but most importantly for you. And if anything in today's episode hits home, be sure to drop a green heart in the chat. It is our community's way of saying, I am healing, I am growing, and I am showing up for me. Now let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together. Today, we are stepping into a conversation that speaks to every woman who's ever felt not enough, who's ever battled self-doubt, or ever held onto imperfections like they were disqualifications. We're talking about becoming. And I don't mean that fake Instagram real becoming. I'm talking about the real, raw, honest becoming. The kind that doesn't always look perfect, but transforms your whole life when you finally give yourself permission to grow. Family, help me welcome Coach Persephone into the room to breathe with me. Persephone is a self-perception and confidence coach. That's a tongue twister. And she is someone whose journey began with trauma, survival, and deep-rooted insecurity, yet blossomed into a powerful story of transformation, purpose, and what some like to call late healing. From navigating motherhood as a teenager to rediscovering her identity in her 40s, she embodies the truth that it is never too late to bloom. But before we jump into her story, y'all, you know what we do. We want to take an opportunity to check in with your soul today, Coach. How is your spirit doing, Queen?
I am humbled. It's an honor to just be able to, speak on your platform. I'm just in all gratitude. I'm just humbled.
Yes, listen, I'm glad that my excitement is jumping through the screen because I usually think it's always just me. I'm over here like, I'm so excited. I get to talk to her or I get to talk to him, So when I have other people come and they're like, I've been waiting for this, I'm like, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling.
Absolutely. So again, I do want to just take the time to thank you so much for being here with us today. And I think that we should just maybe start with your journey, right? Who is Persephone and what inspired you to step into the work of self-perception and confidence coaching?
Well, Persephone is, the name, Greek goddess. So that was one thing that, you always have it in the back of your mind. But then when you look at the Greek mythology of it, it just connected so well from, underneath, being, underground, and then 6 months underground and 6 months above. And it just really connected with me throughout my journey and growing up. And it was to the point where I didn't want to keep being humble, I didn't want to keep being quiet about it, because I always touch people when I speak. And hearing people say, you know what, I never expected. People saw more out of me than I saw of myself. So as a young mom, dealing with imperfections, it was never about me healing. So it just came to a point where I say, you know what, I have this gift that people really connects with me and feel safe with me. Why not use my journey, my story of, the limiting beliefs, the self-doubt, the insecurities, the depression, the anxiety, being a young mom at the age of 15 and by the age of 18 having two. So people always seen so much of a success story out of me, but I never really took the time to just acknowledge it and be like, celebrate just your wins. You've been doing it. So it never was about me, it just show up, do what you got to do, be there for others. And no one never knew behind the surfaces, because I never expressively showed it externally, but internally was another thing.
Yeah, no. And I just want to thank you and let you know that, I appreciate you even opening that door, because a lot of people, even I think when we start to kind of find our healing, we think self-care or self-healing, like we keep it to ourselves. Not everybody is willing to share their journey. So I thank you and truly appreciate you even taking that next step to not only heal yourself, but then to use yourself to be that vessel or that testimony for somebody else's story.
Yeah.
So that's a blessing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You deserve it. So let's go back to one of the earliest moments that shaped how you saw yourself. You've previously, I think when we spoke, you had shared a trauma involving your right eye, something that kind of shifted the way you viewed yourself.
Yes.
How did that experience impact your confidence and the conversations that you were having internally?
I think that was the root of it all. As a young child in grade school, thinking back, we have these imperfections or these insecurities, these doubts, these fears, and we never connect where and why and how it started. We just think, oh, it's just started now. No, it goes underlying, it goes way back. So as a young child in grade school, I was always picked on because of the imperfection of my right eye, which was a weak muscle. It's called strabismus. So being picked on, being bullied, being laughed at, I can remember it like it was yesterday. It was one of the hardest things. And because of that, I started feeling like no one, like I would never have a boyfriend. I wouldn't get married. People just made so harsh comments that people would make and tease of me. It just made me feel like people saw my eye before they saw what my qualities and what I was able to bring to the table. And people were more looking externally versus internally. So that's what really started the hub of me not wanting to take pictures, not show my face on a social platform. I always had hairstyles that would cover my right eye, and it just really sunk me in deeply. And that's the big root that really started the whole, not feeling pretty, not wanting to, I didn't even want to look in the mirror. Like I never used to bother with putting makeup on as I, got older. So that was the really big root of where and why this started. And it was an imperfection that I had no control of, but that didn't define me. But then not knowing, I was letting it define me.
Yeah. Yeah. And so while you were carrying all of that on the inside, life wasn't slowing down. You mentioned becoming a teen mom at 15 and again at 18. And so that right there is a lot to navigate at such an early age.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the toughest parts of that season? And how did you keep showing up for your children while battling your own insecurities?
That's a great question. And It was honestly, I was like, I'm a mom. There's no time for me. I'm on the back burner. The word I have for that is I was in survival mode. I was surviving for my children, but I wasn't healing for myself. So that's when it was, you have to show up for your kids. I wanted to make sure that I was that all-time mom and making sure they had, and people didn't even know that it was just one person taking care of children. So they never suffered with, behind of, just being a one-parent household. So it was where, as parents do all the time, we show up for our children, but it just never was, it wasn't about me. So it just trickled on continuously until I got into my mid 40s. And now, they're older, they have kids. So I was able to, hone in on myself.
Yeah. I feel like I'm sitting here absorbing all of that because I think that just speaks to so many women. And I don't know, like I think for me, it just kind of touches on something powerful because it's like a reminder of how we are sometimes surviving in spaces without actually healing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like we're surviving without the space to heal, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, again, understanding that you've lived, it's kind of like that, what is it, hindsight 2020, you were living in survival mode. But after living in survival mode for so many years, what, like looking back at it now, what does survival look like to you? And how did you finally realize it is time for me to start healing me?
To be honest, I would have to say, as my kids got older and I just continued to see myself, I'm like, okay, I'm in my 30s now I'm in my 40s. And I'm like, you're still afraid to show yourself on a social platform. But then I see other people that have imperfections and they're front and center on a social platform. And then I'm still, showing up for other people. It just got to a point where I'm like, you need to stop, holding back. You need to, you need to set your boundaries. You need to do better self-care regimens. Because at the end, I'm like, my kids, they're older. My daughter will be 30 in February. My son, he probably going to be 28 in December. I can't keep it with the ages.
Yeah.
But it came to a point where I just said, you need to start living for yourself, do for you, make yourself happy. And, yes, I am happily married and I'm thankful. And my youngest is 17 years old. So I just was like, what are you doing? I'm a grandmother of 6, love my little monsters.
Yeah.
But I was like, what are you doing? Everybody else, it was like, you had no one to really be at a focus anymore, just a 17-year-old. I'm like, girl, live, do something for yourself. So that's when I noticed I kept having these limiting beliefs, the holding back. I said, no, you just need to go ahead and do it. And it's been a good feeling moving forward because the responses and the feedback I get, it really touches other people. So I'm glad that I just decided to stop holding back and just go ahead and do it. But like they say, things happen in God's timing. And yes, it's in my 40s that I finally let go and just step forward. But I feel like if I did it anytime sooner, it wouldn't have been successful in the follow through like I am doing now.
Yeah. And I think that's the part that I love about your story, right? The fact that your healing didn't follow a perfect timeline. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what that is. But like you said, if it would have happened sooner, you wouldn't have been ready to receive it,
Yes.
You had to go through all of the things that you went through in order for this healing, this level of healing to take place. And, your deeper healing journey didn't, like you said, didn't begin till what, late 30s, 40s?
More, I would say like in my early 40s.
Yes,
in my early 40s. Yes.
And so when you hear the term late healing, what does that mean to you? And how did you learn to embrace the idea that transformation doesn't have an age limit.
Because I look at it as, you know what, it's no time like now, it's no time like the present. The fact that I took that step and I've been consistent moving forward, there's no expiration date on it. I'm glad that it happened, and I'm glad that I went forward with doing it, and it happened at the right time that it needed to happen. So I just look at, late healing. Oh, well, if you want to go off the age, then okay, fine. But the fact that it did happen, the fact that I could say I smile more than anything, and it's just something could be going on behind, and you just would never know. But I have a better grasp on it, if that makes sense. Like my mindset is totally different, like a full, complete transformation. It's not saying that, oh, life is perfect. No, but the way I take things on and look at it, and just the mindset of it all is a total different approach, as in how it would have been back then.
Yeah. And, it doesn't matter. To me, I feel like it doesn't matter how long it had to cook, right? The end result is what counts,
Yeah.
So as long as I get to show up now as a person who has healed some of her traumas and who is actively seeking to continue healing, that's all that matters. I started if I think about it, I started my healing in my early 40s too. And there's some times I'm like, I wish I would have had this beforehand. Like I was telling my husband, I was like, I really wish, because he always asks, do you have any regrets? And I'm like, no, I don't have any regrets. And then I thought about it and I said, I do have one regret. I wish that I could have met you in my healed version to start, so I didn't have to take you through my healing, because that meant that he had to, quote unquote, pay for other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, him going through that with me built us stronger. Like it helped us to be stronger. So yeah, I don't know. It's something about that late transformation for me that is, I don't know, the sweetest part of it, if you think about it,
Yeah, and it happens, and like I said, it happens when in the timing we can't. It's just the timing, and sometimes you need that extra support person, and maybe that healing wasn't good then, because maybe you wouldn't have had that support person to come along. And I find that a lot of times people go through their healing, will try to go through their healing, but they just can't do it alone, and they're afraid to ask for that help or that support. So it happens when it's time. And I feel like for me, in my early 40s was the perfect time, because if I would have tried it before, it would have been too much of distractions for me with a lot of things taking place. So I'm just glad that it did happen when it did, and I'm just embracing it and enjoying the journey as it unfolds.
Absolutely. Yeah, I always tell people I had too many excuses in my 30s. Like I wouldn't have been ready, because you just said something to me and I'd be like, nah, not today. I got to do X, Y, and Z, But now somebody suggests something and I'll be like, girl, hold on, I'm free at 3:00. You ready? Like I'm ready for it now. And so when we speak of transformation, I know that the butterfly imagery shows up in your life beautifully. It has become such a meaningful symbol for your work. Why don't you share with us a little bit about your love for the butterfly?
Let me tell you, so it wasn't where it's so funny how the butterfly just came into play with everything as it unfolds. Like when I was talking about like my name, Persephone, the Greek goddess, and when as you research it, and the darkness, and coming to the above surface, the light, it just resonated so well when it connected with the butterfly and the transformation that a butterfly goes through. And it goes through its most transformation period is during the dark period, when you can't see what's going on behind the scenes. And so it doesn't mean that you're going to see it going on in front of you in the light. Is when it's in that cocoon stage, is when it's going through its transformation. So for me, it just resonated so well as a symbol because I went through so much with the imperfections, the anxiety, the depression, and so much. And now to see, I like how the energy matches it, because when you see the Persephone and you see this butterfly, you're like, oh, you're not seeing sadness. You're going to see a woman that's smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah. So how does that cocoon, the struggle, right? Because in that what is it? Is it chrysalis, the chrysalis phase, right? In the cocoon, honey, that is a struggle if I ain't never seen a struggle before. And so from that struggle, there's this emergence, right? How does all of that reflect your personal becoming?
That struggle, I would say, it just it never gives up. It just still keeps going. It does not give up. And that's how I feel for myself. Like I feel like my kids were my keepsake. Like they just kept me going and gave me purpose to keep going because I did not want to disappoint them. I had to show up for them. So they were like the biggest key for me going through all of this stage in this transformation. They were like the pivotal key point for me. They were, how should I say, like the reason why I continued to show up, even though my healing was not being, to the forefront. It was for them. So that darkest period and the struggles that was taking place, it was hard. But I didn't make it, I made it look easy because I just kept going. When I finished high school, I went for my associate's degree. Then from there, my first car. Then from there, eventually, I ended up going for my bachelor, my associate's degree, then my bachelor's degree. So I just kept going. So my kids were my reason. They were my purpose. So with that being said, through that struggle, like when it's in the chrysalis, and it never gave up. And I just never gave up. So that's how my biggest key there was my kids, because I had to show up for them. And being a single mom, it was something that I said I had no option. I had to show up for them. And I just kept evolving and going. And that's the process that it goes through before it blossoms. The butterfly turns into this beautiful, beautiful colors. Like it gets its wings, it soars, and it's a fulfilling, free feeling. But that process that it goes through, my process was holding on to all of that, but I still made it through.
Absolutely. And I mean, that literally is the description of that chrysalis phase, because I think about when I watched this video of it, it's like it goes through this whole little breakdown. It has to, I don't remember what the cap is called when it kind of attaches to the cap, and then you see it, like you see the struggle. You literally see that caterpillar struggle. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it is calm. Like once it knows it did its job, it's calm. And then things are happening behind the scenes. You have no idea what's going on. And then all of a sudden one day that thing starts thinning out and you start to see those wings, and then boom, it's like, here I am, like I'm back. What you gonna do?
Like she's back.
Yes. And I love the fact that no two butterflies are the same.
Oh no.
And so when you think of, perception and confidence building, the butterfly is also a great reminder for that, because they're all supposed to look different. And so if you think that, you're not as pretty as the other butterflies, just know that, you're not meant to look like the others. You were literally built to stand out and to not be the same.
Yes.
But y'all all went through the same struggle, and that's the biggest reminder. Y'all all, what is it? Started from the bottom. Now you here.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Perfect. Yes. Yes. That is so true. It's like it's when you look at it, and like you said, the video, it's like when you see it, you're like, wow, like what a perfect way to connect it, because you just kept, it didn't give up. And I And I didn't give up. And it's just good to be able to be here today to just be able to tell the story, be able to express it. Because when I say social media, like the social platform with your picture, that was just not me. And I kid you not, I look at myself on my platform. Sometimes I'll have a tear because I'm like, girl, I can't believe it. But it's a reward. It's a self-rewarding feeling because it humbles me. And I'm just thankful to be able to continuously to help and just spread words of encouragement and be supportive to the women.
Right. Is this a clock it moment? Is this a clock it? Right? Like she did that, okay?
That part.
Yeah.
No,
and
period.
Right, period. And I think that is so good, when you have those moments where you get to just sit back, and whether it's looking at the work that we do or the progress that we've made, when you get to just kind of sit back and look and you're like, yep, that was me. I did that,
Yes.
and we do it when we look at our kids, right? When our kids go off and be successful, you're like, I made them. That's all me,
Exactly.
But when you get to see yourself, or for me, when I look at little Shantae pictures, I was going through my phone today and I pulled up some early childhood pictures of me, and I'm like, girl, we did that, and I was on the phone with my friend and she's like, who are you talking to? I'm like, me, because girl, we did that. Like, I remember that little girl. She struggled, and now look at us. Like, we did that.
To the point, I'd be like, what in the world? Y'all dressed me like that. But I'm like, but she did that though.
Yeah, like I did the best I could with what I had,
Exactly.
So now let's talk about the internal makeover, right? The shift in how you speak to yourself. Because how we see ourselves is one thing, but sometimes how we talk to ourselves is a little bit different. And so you have been transparent about battling negative self-talk and low self-esteem. What were the first steps that you took to rewrite that inner dialogue and start to speak to yourself with compassion?
I would say the awareness, like being aware of what is it that I'm saying to myself. Those moments of looking in the mirror, saying, the negative language that really just sunk me down. Yeah. And then just changed my whole mindset where it wasn't looking at anything positive. So for instance, if I'm saying I'm not pretty and saying that to myself, even when I'm in the mirror, and then I'm getting on the social platform, what am I doing? Oh, now I'm doing self-comparison. Oh, she's pretty. I wish I looked like her. Oh, look, she could do this with her face, her eyes. Oh, but look what I got. Look what I'm going through. So with all of that negative self-talk. So what I found that, being aware of what it is and how you're talking to yourself is major, because you're not going to be able to heal if you keep being in a negative headspace. Right. So for me, I had to say, listen, if you're saying you want to overcome this and you want to heal, then you have to see how you have to change that. Yeah. So when I think of like one of the framework that I have that I call the triple A's, and that's the awareness, acceptance, and activation. So for me, it was that awareness stage. It was like, look how you're talking to yourself. So that's that stage of everything that you're saying, the doubt, the fear, the limiting beliefs, everything that you're saying. But at the time, you're saying this, but do you want to fix yourself? Do you want to heal? Because if you can say yes to that, then you need to do what you need to do, the necessary steps to begin the healing. We can say it, but if you're not wanting to do the necessary steps that you want to do to heal from it, then it's not going to happen. Right. So that's where that process became of when I thought about like the triple A's, the triple A framework. And that was the first one, was the awareness stage. And a lot of us don't, as women, we're not aware of what we're doing and what we're saying and how we're talking to ourselves, because how you speak out about yourself internalizes inside, and it's going to be negative. If it's negative, then what do you think is going to come out? Not positive, because now you already projected negative. So it's like they always say, speak to yourself with kindness, give yourself grace.
Yeah. Yeah. I always tell myself, girl, put some respect on my name. Like, me out here disrespecting me to these people.
And I always say this too. If you can't respect yourself, how do you expect anyone else to respect you? So that
Absolutely.
goes along when it comes to the boundary aspect. If you don't see that you need to set forth boundaries for yourself, then how do you expect anyone else to have that respect on that boundary level for you? So it's not something that happens overnight, but it's just bringing the reality to it. Like, you need the awareness is the first stage, and just being aware of what it is that you're saying to yourself about yourself.
Absolutely. And the thing is, you have to set the tone for how people treat you. So
Mhm.
if you are talking down on yourself, if you have this negative, view of you, that is literally what you're out here projecting to the world. So then other people are going to come in and treat you less than as well. And it's not because you don't deserve more, it's because you're not demanding more.
Mhm.
You set the bar very low, and very rarely do you find people who are willing to pick you up from a place that you look very comfortable in,
Yeah.
because most people are like, why bother? She's happy. Let me leave her there, and a lot of times other people are just kind of oblivious to what you have going on because,
Mhm.
if like your situation, if I look at you, I'm like, oh, she is beautiful, all of this. And you're like, no, I don't feel that. I'm like, girl, how? Like, do you not see yourself? Like, look at you. And you're like, yeah, no, I don't feel that, So no matter what I see, it doesn't make a difference to you if you can't see that too.
Exactly. You have to see
Yeah.
the worth within yourself, because no matter
Yes.
what anyone tells you, if you don't see that worth within yourself, then it's just, no matter what anyone says, it's just not going to resonate. It's just not going to mean anything. So you do have to have that worth within yourself to know, this is, I matter. Like, and it's just simple things, as much as, like, for every negative, turn it into a positive. But it comes with a process. It comes with taking action. And then, you have to if you want that change, then you will need to put in the work and the necessary things to make that change happen. And that's where it came to a point where I did not want to no longer keep, because it wasn't a happy feeling. It just, you find yourself being depressed a lot. You find yourself being sad, and you just find yourself just feel like you're feeling hopeless. Like, you just,
Yeah.
you're just not yourself. You feel depleted. And I know for a fact I've been down that road, and it's like, why should I want to keep showing up like this every day, all day, but then showing up for others, but not showing up for myself?
Absolutely.
So I'm like, I have it to do it because I'm doing it for others, but they don't know what it is that I'm dealing with, feel behind the scenes. So I'm like, you need to, like they say, practice what you preach.
Right. Period.
Class it.
They're gonna be tired of us by the end of the show, y'all. We done learned a couple new things today, and we gotta use it.
Exactly.
So while you were rebuilding from the inside, you were also navigating outside noise, right? Stereotypes, expectations, opinions. Because I think that society places so many labels on Black women and on like teen moms or anyone who doesn't fit the perfect story, right? How did you learn to rise above those labels and trust your own path?
And I guess people get tired of me saying it, but again, it was my kids. My son and my daughter at the time, and I have to say, like, I knew I wanted a good future for them. I wanted to make sure I was showing up for them. So I was told, "Oh, you're never going to get married, or you're not going to graduate." Oh, all the things I was told. You're a single mom with 2 kids. It was the list goes on.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an option for me not to show up. So it was where I just had to keep pushing and just keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. And, here I am now. It just was never a moment for me to just want to give up. And I always think of it as they saved me, and they may not know that and see it that way. I have said it to them before, but they saved me, because if I was still going through those things alone, and if I didn't have them, it probably would have been even worse, because then I wouldn't felt like I really had a purpose. So it helped me along the way. And now they are grown, they have kids, and they're successful and with their careers and things like that, which is a humbling feeling. And then I have the 17-year-old now. So it's one of the things where I just know that during my early journey in my life, with everything unfolding, they were key for me, because I knew that I could not want to show up, even though if something was someone said hurt it. And trust me, it's times where I was in the bathroom, I was crying, and I hid it behind the scenes. And I know a lot of moms can relate to that. We don't want our kids to see us in that emotional moment, having that breakdown. The passing of, my grandmother, which was like years and years ago. She was someone that was like the glue for me. Like, I was her baby. So it was like so many things that took place, but no matter what, I still had to show up. Yes. And I'm glad that I was able to stand through that storm, because it was it was, when you think back, you're like, wow, and then you still was doing schooling and, ending with my master's. So, and then it's a happy joy moment, and a feeling, but it was just like, when you think of all of that, you just be like, wow.
Yeah. No, I too was a shower crier. It was the only place that I could get away from my son long enough to feel what I needed to feel. And it wasn't just going in the bathroom. I had to go take a shower. That is the only time that child was not near me, trying to figure out what I was doing and what was going on. And so I took that even as he got older. When I got married, when I had a moment, I would just be like, oh, I'm going to go take a shower. And I would just go cry in the shower, because it was one place that I could just let go of it all. And when you get out, you just feel better. I don't know if it's just the whole wash away the pain or what, but you just feel better.
It's a difference in keeping it in and then express and getting it out, just like with journaling, so it's a difference when you're just holding it in, because you're not, expressing it, just in the emotions. It's like a release. It's like one of the coping skills. You're getting it out. You're crying, and it's something that you need to do instead of holding it in. So that was something that I would do. And like I said, this journey of me right now didn't start until my early 40s. Even being married and in my 30s at times, like my husband, my kids, like they didn't know, even in my 30s, that I was behind the scenes doing that. And my husband twice deployed, so now you got 3 kids. So it was so when I say I had to wear the hat, I had to wear the cape. I had layers on my back. All of it. And I know there are so many women who are going to listen to this and they're going to be like, girl, me too. Like, me too. My military moms, wives, it was 2 weeks old. He left when our son was 2 weeks old. And I had my 2 other the older ones, then they're older now. So it was he left twice. And so it was hard.
It's a whole nother kind of pressure. Because it's that you got to worry about him being over there. You got to, because you need to make sure he get back here, because listen, I ain't doing this by myself, okay? So you got to get back here. These kids need you.
That part.
But then it's also, let me make him proud, because I can't break one of these kids while he gone. So I gotta still be super mom, and I gotta be supporting wife, and somewhere in between there, I gotta find me. I have to just be me. And so that is a lot to navigate. But like I said, I think that there are a lot of people who will resonate with that, whether it's, military wife or not. I like to say that we're all living our life on repeat, whether it's, our caregiving, like, as I'm a caregiver for my mother-in-law. So whether it's, like caregiving someone who has an illness or a disease, or parenting little ones, or extended family, whatever your on repeat is, we're all living life on repeat, we're all listening to music. It might be a different song, but we all got our own vibe going on, you know?
Yes.
And so for any of our listeners who feel like, okay, maybe they feel like kind of trapped in their cocoon, or they're unsure where to start, what is one piece of encouragement that you would give someone who feels behind, broken, or overdue for a breakthrough?
One thing that I can say, and what really helped me, is don't be afraid to reach out. A lot of women feel as though they're going to be labeled. No one wants to hear them. And to be honest, the women's support community is not like it should be. When I decided, you know what, it's the social platform. It's not the social platform that can be the problem. It's how people uses it.
Yeah.
People are quick to say, oh no, that is toxic. It's how you use it. There's so many benefits to getting into women's support groups. There are support groups in your community. Some things you just can't do alone, and just don't feel afraid to reach out and just connect with someone. And let me be the first to tell you, I may not be the first to tell you, family is not going to be the one you want to reach out to.
Girl.
So, okay, clock it.
Because sometimes it be your own people. In fact, I'm going to change that. And I'm going to say 90% of the time, it be your own people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Like, they don't get it.
Ones. Yeah, we turn to the wrong ones thinking that it's family, so they should be able to understand, help, and connect. And I will be the one to say, don't feel ashamed if it's not family. You will find so much support, and that's what I have been able to do. If I knew that I wanted to change this cycle and the spiraling and the negative mindset and limiting beliefs and everything of those things that I was going through, I knew I had to make some changes. And it may mean letting go of some people. But again, we get stuck and we get complacent in that stagnation stage. And if you don't want change, then change is not going to happen. And the only way change is going to happen is that you're going to need to take the necessary steps to make the change happen. You can sit there all you want and say this and yes, that, but you have to take the steps to make the change happen. If you don't want to take no steps to make it happen, then you will stay in the same place of stagnation year after year after year. And I don't know about y'all, but I know for me, life is too short. So life is going to be lifing, but I'm just going to keep stepping over the hurdles and just trying to make each day count.
Absolutely. Yeah, we just had a whole conversation recently about how your circle determines your ceiling. And, just truly understanding that mama wasn't wrong when she said, watch the company you keep.
Yes.
Not everybody is ready to grow. Not everybody is prepared for your healing.
Nope.
And that's okay, because not everybody's meant to go with you for the next level. And you just have to kind of take it for what it is. But I think you made a very good point when you said that you can't expect healing in the same places that hurt you. And sadly, a lot of our hurt stemmed from our family. And that doesn't mean that they're bad. It doesn't mean that they did it on purpose, but it still means that it happened. Yeah. And so we have to go outside.
They have some healing or things that they need to take on, need to fix. So I'm thankful that, my childhood didn't stem from, domestic violence, none of those things.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that. But a lot of people have dealt with that, and then they're still trying to connect with the same people. Like, it's like oil and water. It's not going to mix, It's not. And I know what has helped me along the way of becoming this confident person that I am now was changing my network, changing my circle, changing the people that I was around. And the thing is with me, no matter how bad you have done me, I don't hate no one. I just love you from a distance. And that's just where we are. I just love you from a distance. I respect you, and I respect you enough to know that I have to respect myself, and I respect you enough to know that you need your space. But there's no negative, no intentions. Like I said, I have a good conscience and I sleep well at night because I'm not walking around with the hate, that toxic, because then that's just taking up space, and that's just taking up space in your mind of negativity over I'm going positive. Okay, you didn't like it. You don't care for me. That's good. Thank you very much. I'm gonna go right and you go left. But when you hold on to those things, it's hard for you to try to have a positive mindset when you're holding on to so much negative. So I just know that change is good, and I just knew that this is the things that I had to do, and it involved close family. And I respect them. I can see you and be cordial. There's no hate. I just knew what I had to do for myself. So women just have to start knowing, put yourself first. It's okay to put yourself first. That's where the self-care comes in. That's where the boundaries come in. It's okay to put yourself first, because I was doing that as well. And it started as being a mom, putting my kids first. So it just came so like, okay, I'm not going to do for myself. I got to make sure my kids is good. But then it just kept going in other things in life with friendships and everything else. You may not think that it's your kids no more, but it started going into other areas. And you notice that you're just not putting yourself first. You have to put yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no harm in, telling someone, hey, like, I love you, but I love me more. It's like, I want you to eat, but I can no longer serve you at this table. Exactly. Because me serving you, it's like, I want to see you win. You're right. I want to see you win, but it won't come at the cost of sacrificing me for you to do it, and they can like it or not, but it doesn't change the fact that this healing is going to happen over here. Whether you want it to or not, I'm going to get my healing. I'm getting in line for my blessings. I don't really care what you do. I hope you win. I hope to see you on the other side, but if I don't,
and
it's not going to be my fault.
Exactly. And I find that a lot of women, they don't know how to express that to other people, because they become because I'm a very, giving person. And I always feel like, oh my God, I'm hurt. That's going to hurt their feelings. But I've learned that if they respect you just as much as well as you respect them, then they should respect and honor your wishes as well. If they can't respect what you feel and your wishes, then that's just not a good mix. That's just not a good friendship. You should not have to feel like you can't express, oh no, or I don't want to. You shouldn't have to be like that in a friendship or a family member, or even in your workplace, because that's when you start dimming your light because you're afraid to speak up and say anything because you think they're going to be mad with you. And that's something that I too, have dealt with. So it's knowing that if they respect you enough, then they should respect your boundaries, your wishes. Everyone has a right to their own opinion. But sometimes we just don't know how to bring it out and say it in a way of, well, I don't want to say it in a harsh way, but saying it, well, right now is not a good time, maybe another time. But then if you can't think of saying it that way, then you're like, well, if I say, that's like I'm saying no. So if I say, oh, they're going to be mad at me. So now you just keep doing it.
Yeah. Where were you earlier today? I literally was just having a conversation with someone in regards to that kind of boundary setting. Because I think for me, setting boundaries in my personal life, easy. I feel like I'm a master now, right? But when it comes to like my business, you have to kind of figure out how to set certain boundaries to make sure that you're honoring the other person as well. And so one of the things I had brought up is I do these coffee chats with people, and it gives, friends and, other creators the opportunity to book a virtual coffee chat with me for 20 minutes. And so you would just go into my calendar and you see my availability and you can just put time on the calendar for us to have a little girl talk, right?
I like that.
I love it because in the middle of me seeing clients and recording, I get this coffee chat. So I might look up and it'll be like, oh, you get a coffee chat with Persephone. And I'm like, yes, my girl. So it's like, we get to just breathe for a moment, have coffee, eat lunch, whatever is happening, right? And so when I go to the meeting and I'll sit there for 10 minutes. Now, the meeting's only 20 minutes long. If I sit there for 10 minutes and you don't show up, I end the meeting and then I just mark it as a no-show, which sends an email to you to prompt you to want to reschedule if you like. So I have people who are like, why didn't you just call me? And I'm like, so I was trying to figure out, how am I supposed to tell these people, you booked the time on the calendar, not me. So your poor time management or your forgetfulness is not my problem. Like, don't project that on me. And today earlier, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start telling people, hey, that's a boundary for me. You booked the time. I showed up. You didn't. So it sounds like it's you problem, not me. But if you want to reschedule, I'm here. But I'm not going to like bend over backwards to just call everybody, you know?
No.
And I think that if that was my personal life, I would have said that and it would have came off so easy. But I think when it comes to like business, you know, we try to keep it all, you know, PC. Like,
yes, and it's like you're keeping it like professional, because you know this is your business, right?
Yeah.
But I think at times I know I do this often. When I should respond, I don't, because if I say it how it's coming through, it's not going to come out right. It's not going to come out nice. So I'm like, you know what? Give me an hour an hour to let this digress so, and then I can think about how I want to respond to it. Yeah. But one thing I was thinking that you can also put, like, you know how when you do a booking, you could just also indicate in a line, like, please be advised, you know, email will be something along those lines, like an email follow-up if you you weren't available. Phone calls will not be, because then that way, something along those lines, because think about it now, if they say, well, how come you didn't call me? You don't have to think that you're being rude or disrespectful in a way, because you won't be, because you can say, well, if you look on the invite or when you signed up, it does state that an email will be sent if you missed a call, not a call, you know, something along those lines. So then you can revert it back to that. So then you won't feel like you was being rude or disrespectful. You know, it's your business, but you can address it in a better way, because now it's right there in fine print. It's not my fault you didn't read. Of course, you have to say that.
Period. No, listen, and you know, see, y'all, listen, that was like coaches needing coaching in real time, okay? Because we don't have all the answers, contrary to what y'all think. You know, I know we make it look good, but we be over here stressing too. And that's why I be needing my coffee chats, because sometimes I just need to let my hair down and be like, girl, let me tell you something. These people, you know, we need that. Exactly. They tried it. But no, that's a really good idea, because I can add that in the beginning. So that way when I respond, I'll say, per the booking that you signed up for, you know?
Exactly.
And,
so just put it down there somewhere on there.
All right, let's get back on course. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, y'all. So a lot of times I think even this was kind of like a breakthrough. It was like an aha moment, because I'm like, oh yeah, duh. Like, I have all the other stuff in there. Why not put that? Especially if it's a common problem, you know, that's the beauty. You get to kind of tweak things as you go. And that's the same way life is, right? We go through life and something's not working. So we reel it back in and we're like, okay, we've done this. This happened. This keeps happening. Let me stop doing this, or let me stop doing it like this. Let me try another way. What did Leah tell us? If at first you don't succeed, you dust yourself off and try again, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that, you know, when you think about the whole breakthrough, I think that part of that comes when we finally realize that our pain has a purpose. And I think that that's something that I didn't know or really understand early on, because I was just focused on the hurt. Like, ouch, don't touch it, you know? But when I finally started realizing that my pain has a purpose, I think that really changed the game for me. And so I'm curious, how did you discover your purpose, and how are you now using that to transform, you know, your story to help other people step into their confidence and reclaim their identity?
Like, when I think of it as like what my purpose throughout my upbringing, you know, even after like having my kids, I've always been that go-to person for others, to talk to, a listening ear, I always seen it. It wasn't where I said I wanted to do that, but I always saw myself. I will always be in a position where it was advice, support. Even my daughter friends, would they come over and if they were having a problem. So I always see myself. I was learning that you have a gift of reaching, talking to people, helping people to feel comfortable, giving that advice, that support, that encouragement. So moving forward, it was where, why not keep going in the direction that you see that you're most useful at? And I always was in that mental health bubble some way, somehow, as a therapeutic support staff worker, a teacher's assistant. Like I always was in that bubble. So, and with going to school, it was where, when I went for my bachelor's degree for psychology and applied behavior analysis, it was just always, it just kept trickling down. So I seen that this is what it is for you in this bubble, to help people, to connect with people. So because people felt comfortable, people feel safe to just vent and talk to me. It's like, you don't turn away from this now. So as I moved up the ladder, and now I'm to the point where it wasn't just for others, it was about me. So now I'm using what I am good at, is just being that listening ear, being supportive. I'm now bringing my story into play, and people are really resonating and connecting with it. So it just made it even more helpful along the way in what I'm doing now.
Yeah. And so as you move forward and you're guiding others, I know that you've created, various tools or practices to help them navigate their ups and downs. And so healing and confidence aren't linear journeys. Like no part of healing is linear at all. And so are you able to share some of the tools or practices or maybe even mindsets that you teach your clients to help them bounce back and keep becoming even as the setbacks are happening?
Well, yes, definitely. The support, like in some of my coaching, the accountability. Some things is where, like, I have the Telegram, and that's like an accountability where, like, maybe on a Thursday, like if you submit, if there's something that's on your mind, something you want to express or talk about, that is something that I find to be very helpful, to not have a person wait all the way to the following week if there is something going on. And I feel like I wanted to extend that only because I know what it felt like to be holding back and holding on. So that's the difference with me. Mm-hmm. I don't want people to continuously to feel like they have to suffer alone. And this is, I resonate with it. So it's just genuine and truly authentic for me. So that's something that I find to be useful. And then, steps, the steps that I take with them also is, the positives of journaling, how it helps to just get your thoughts out on paper. A daily routine, goals. I have one that I love too, is music, like your songs. Like I even have them on my content. I'm like, wait a minute, that's her. I was like, and I've been doing it like exactly, period. And I was doing that all along, and I was like, you was like, thanks for sharing. I was like, I've been using this about 3 of her songs. Right. It wasn't even knowing, but that is something that I try to get them to feel like. I know some mornings you don't want to get up, but you got to have a routine. So it was getting them to like, what's some of your favorite songs? Like, of course, your music list. The other, I think her name is Blanca. Are You Ready? Her songs. Mary J. Blige, Good Morning Gorgeous. So
girl, yes.
It's just trying to get you to just get out of that funk. Because let me tell you, I don't be wanting to get up at times, but it's just like, you know what? Of course, when you have a child that you got to take to school because you don't want to take the bus, you have to get up.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that hot rag, and then you just podcasts, motivational, Mel Robbins, Sarah Jakes, like, these are the different things that I try to give to them that's quick and accessible.
Yeah.
You know, you may not have time to sit there and write it out in journaling, but your journaling can be so simple as another thing I had just show a client. Your journal, it can be you in your car and you could just have your phone and you just talking about it. Don't be afraid to record yourself and just talk, you know, or you can have it in your notes. So it's just trying to give them those things are really quick, handy, accessible things that people don't be thinking about. Instead of listening to, you know, that R&B, listen to something inspirational, motivational, save it to the playlist. You can make playlists on YouTube, and then it's like motivational or whatever, save it, and then, you know, go back to it, and it helps you to be in your own mind. And another thing, my aromatherapy, I got to have.
Girl.
I got to have.
You speaking my language. Telling you, I'm over here like, yes, my heart is full because I'm with the book list, I'm with the music. I have my warmer right here next to me now. Yes. Yeah, I need it all. I need it all.
Spearmint, that lavender, it does. Yes, it does.
The sage candle, girl, listen, I have it all.
So
I need it all.
You know, sometimes when I say those, it's just different quick things. I'm like, if you can go to Dunkin', you can go to Bath and Body or somebody and get you some a candle or some spray. So I don't want to hear that. But it's just those little things they're like, oh, I didn't think of that. And of course, you're not going to think of that. That's why you have people or a support group or whatever that can bring those ideas to you, and they already have it in their mind. It's already there. It just need help to just bring it out to the surface. So it's like quick things like that I try to give out to help them to be able to see, oh wow. I'm like, girl, try my lavender. It's the mist. I spray it on my pillow. I spray it on my robe, and when I just take a deep. The aromatherapy is it's so heaven for me.
It is everything. It is everything. I always tell people to go back to your 5 senses. You know, if you have a stressful work environment, you need to create like a sensory area. So something that you can touch, right? We like fidgets and things. For me, I have a ring, and it's so funny because you mentioned male. My ring says "let them." Right?
Oh, wow.
And so when I fidget, because I'm an introvert, so sometimes when I do interviews, I'm like a little nervous. So off camera, I can kind of fidget and nobody, you know, realizes what's happening. Or even I used to be one of these people that kind of like scratch your finger, but now I just play with the ring. But so anyways, that's my touch sensory. I have my scented oils or warmer, you know, whatever for the scent. Sometimes you got to have like a little hard candies for something that you can taste quickly, or, you know, things like that. Sight, have a picture, your screensavers on your computer, things like that.
To say that, like have a scenery up on your screensaver at work. Also, you know what I do too? You can get the stress release on relaxation music on YouTube. And you can go and they'll just be playing a waterfall or whatever. And sometimes literally I'll be at work and I'll do my stress the lotion, and then I'll spray the mist over me, and then I'll just take a deep breath and I'll just close my eyes. And you know, it's just the simplest little things. And I feel like the people that are not aware of it think that they gotta be it takes up this much time. No. It's not so cost effective. If you can buy fast food, if you can go to Dunkin' or whatever, you can take that $10 or $20 even if it totals up in 2 weeks, and just get the little things. But something so simple as your screen, listening to the music, even YouTube, going at night, going to sleep at night, getting that Calm app, or it's other things that you can get. People just don't know how easy and simple, and it's not cost effective to just do those little things. And once you start 1 or 2, you just start doing it consistently. Then you be like, nah, I ain't going to Dunkin'. I'm going to get me some more eucalyptus spearmint sage.
Like it's no longer a life choice. I tell people just give it 21 days. Try one new habit, something for you, for 21 days straight. And I'm telling you, day 22, You're just gonna get up and do it. It's gonna literally become second nature because it moves from being an idea to a habit to a lifestyle change. Now this is what I'm doing.
Yes,
I struggled getting up early in the morning, and I had been wanting to do it because I wanted to pray, I wanted to journal, all the things, but I could not get up early in the morning. So when my son went back to school, I was like, I'm taking this opportunity because I need to get up anyway and make sure that he gets on the bus, you know? And so I'm like, all right, I'm getting up at 6 a.m., making sure that he's good. And I'm not going back to bed. I'm showering, I'm getting dressed, and I'm doing it. And I do it. Like even now on the weekend, I cannot sleep in anymore because my day starts at 6 a.m. I just had to do it for 21 days. And by that fourth week, I was like, oh, this is easy. No problem. Like I was happy to do it because the first couple weeks I struggled, but it gets easier.
And I also found for myself too, in order to be better for the next day, you have to prepare yourself better the day before.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you have to get some good sleep at night. You can't, it's impossible to think you're going to go to bed 2, 3 in the morning. You're going to get up in a good mood. No, you're tired. You're sleep deprived. So now you're in a funky mood. So now the rest of the day is not going to be the best, but you had to get up because you know you had to get up, but it's like, it's not going to be in the best. So it's like preparing for the day, preparing how you prepare your day. The end of your day helps how you will set your day the next day. So it's like being mindful of getting good sleep at night is very, very, very important. Even down to certain body soaps and stuff that I like the lavender and stuff like that. That's helpful. I even would make sure that I'm soaking it up in the tub some so I could just have the aroma throughout the bathroom. The women go like, wow, I'm telling you, it's so many different tricks that you can do. That's you pour some of it in the tub and just as the shower runs and it's getting hot and steamy, you'll come out feeling so refreshing. Even down to, I told my husband, I said, if you see that I'm about to take a shower, don't come in the room because I like to light my candles. I don't want to come out and then you ain't with the TV on. I got the camera on. Can I just have my scenery? Like, can I something?
Yeah, exactly.
For the moment, please.
Right. Like if you come in the bathroom and the lights are off, don't come turning them on if you hear me in the shower. I'm relaxed.
Exactly. So
I got shower steamers.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shower steamers. They're like a bath bomb, but for when you take a shower. And you just drop it in your shower and you scoot it to the back. And as the water hits it a little bit, it starts to do its thing. And so you can do like the eucalyptus and all of that. I really like them, especially when I'm like stuffed up.
Yes.
But those are things, and you can get lavender ones. So you have to learn what wakes you up.
Yeah.
So that way, if you're like a morning shower person, you have that to wake you up. Or if you need a calm or something to relax, you stick to something else that has like lavender, chamomile, those things.
Yes.
To calm you. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm a firm believer in starting the day with me and ending the day for me. You know, so whatever it is, if it means I get up and have my coffee before I speak to anybody else, that's my thing today. If it means I have to put my headphones on at night and listen to a meditation or a thunderstorm, that's my business.
Yes.
Like I have to start the day and end the day for me because the other hours of the day was for everyone else. This right here, this is mine, you know?
Yes. And it has to be, you know, you have to know it's okay to be selfish with that part for yourself. It's okay because when you think about it, you need to show up for your kids, your spouse. You need to show up at your job. You need to show up. So make sure you're doing what you need to do and taking the necessary steps needed to make sure you can show up productively for yourself. So those things are things that you do. Just you have to wake up every day. So it's like, why not try to find some different tips or tricks that you can do? Because I'm not always listening to music. I'm listening to like podcasts of some form of motivation. And it's to the point where I like it more now than just listening to the, you know, R&B or whatever. I prefer that more because it really just gets you in your, you know, just get you thinking, but not in a negative way, but it really be having you think about some things. And then when I do listen to music, like, you know, Good Morning Gorgeous, Mary J. Blige, or her other one, Just Fine. That one, I'm Fine. That one, and Are You Ready? Like, and then in your selections that you have, you just have to, I'm telling you, I can't stress it enough. just try it and you'll just be like, wow. And then if you had a relaxing bath the night before, you had your candles, and just take that hour out for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I just like it being, I'll have my pajamas on, but I want my robe on too, because it's just relaxing to me. It just makes me want to be in that relaxing mood.
Yeah.
I'm a TV show. I like Law and Order, and maybe but I'm going to sit and watch Law and Order for you. It's okay to be selfish for yourself.
Yeah. And it allows you to look at things differently. I know the more I started getting into my healing, you know, now when I watch a movie, I am analyzing the people. And then I'm like, like even with Law and Order, I'm like, he a killer, but he had a real messed up childhood and he had such and such issue. Like, I have analyzed the whole show, and my husband be looking at me like, when did they talk about that? I'm like, I just know. You got to pay attention. Because he'd be like, did you watch this already? I'm like, no, I can just tell. But that's what I find more interesting. So when I do watch these things, I'm like, I don't care about the drama and the plot, whatever. I'm trying to get to the root of your problem. Like, by the end of this movie, I need to solve everybody's problem, right? I'm the Olivia Pope. That's my thing. That's part of my Netflix and heal. Okay, that's what I do.
Yeah, and I was actually watching. Over the weekend, I was like, wait, over the holiday Thanksgiving break, I said I actually watched 2. I can't remember what it was, but it was 2 movies. I never can find movies on Netflix, and I actually watched 2 movies on Netflix. And let me tell you, I kid you not, I was like, that was cool. I like that I did that because my mind is always spinning. I'm like, okay, what else I got to do? I got to do this. I just was like, I need to do that more often. And it was cool. I was in my own little world, had my robe on, just chilling, had my water. Girl, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Welcome to Netflix and heal. Okay, I done did all the chilling I need to do. I am at Netflix and heal. All right, so I will find something and binge watch it. And my husband be like, why are you watching that? I'd be like, oh, it's interesting. And like, I'm a person, I don't even get into drama, but I definitely am watching the whole, I forget what it's called, the thing that 50 Cent put out about Diddy. Oh, I'm intrigued. Like, I'm just intrigued and I'm watching it. And like, I don't really get caught up in the celebrity drama, but I told you I'm deeper in the root of it now, because I'm like, such and such had
about that. Like, I didn't get to see. I'm like, because you know how when you get online and then they were saying something about Diddy and then they said something about 50. I'm like, what document? I didn't know he made something or whatever. Okay, so it is true. Okay.
It is, and it is interesting. And I think for me, it's just because we grew up with these people. We grew up with Tupac and Biggie and Diddy and all of that. And so, you know, looking at it and watching it, like, I think you're a lot like me. I think that when you would look at it from the healing perspective. We're going to go into this show. I see all the trauma. I see all the triggers. I see all the flags. And I'm like, y'all didn't know that? Y'all didn't know this was going to happen? And I see all of that. You know what I mean? So it's like deeper than just celebrity gossip. And that's just, it's just the way my brain works now. It's like, once you start healing, y'all, you can't stop. And there's like nothing that you can do, down to how you cook your food. All of us that like, it has to be different. Oh, I can't use salt. I got to do this. Can't put too much sugar. Got to do, because like once you start healing, you can't stop. It just feels good.
Yeah, it's a humbling, happy feeling, because you know you're doing something for you. And you need to be able to you want to show up for others, I should say. And in order for you, everyone has that reason. And if it's your kids, your parents, your dog, your niece, your nephew, your auntie, whatever it is. But if you want to keep showing up for them, then you need to make sure you're taking care of you.
Yeah, you got to show up for you first.
Yes, definitely. Because if not, they're not going to have you, and you're not going to have yourself.
Yeah, so at this point, this conversation doesn't even matter for you anymore because you're not here.
Exactly, so. But you do deserve. I feel everyone deserves happiness, and you're and we're all different. And just as well as you feel as though your best friend or your aunt, your sister, your uncle, anyone else that you can speak to with grace and kindness, you do the same for yourself. Because if you can speak it to someone else, then you need to speak it to yourself, because you deserve the happiness, the abundance, everything that your heart desires and that you're set out for. You deserve it.
Yeah. I love this. I could talk to you all day, girl. I feel like this is
Yeah, girl.
this has been such right. This has been such like a beautiful full circle moment. You know what I mean?
I really loved it. I really do.
I think it would be nice if we kind of close out with something from your heart, right? So if you could speak to the younger you, right? The little girl who felt imperfect, unseen, or unsure, what message of love, healing, and empowerment would you leave her with today?
I would have to say the ending outcome is what is going to make it all well worth it. Don't give up. Keep going. You're not defined by what people think, feel, or say about you. You need to validate your own ticket, not let everyone validate your ticket.
Yes, that is such a beautiful offering. I hope that, not only your inner child hears that, but I hope that so many of the other women's inner child hears that, because it's not just true for you. That's a word for all of us.
And we allow that external validation to hit us so hard to where we just don't feel we just don't feel like we have a purpose. And that external validation is a monster, and it will stop you from moving forward, walking in your purpose, and you don't owe no explanation to no one. You just owe it yourself. Yeah. And it's one of the things that I had to really learn, that that's their opinion of you. That's not the opinion I should have of myself. So when I say the validation, it's that external validation versus my own internal validation. So I'm now validating my own internal opinion of myself. I'm not allowing what other people, the external, even down to the social media, the social platforms, I'm not allowing none of that external distractions and things from what they say and how they feel and what they feel to think of me. I'm not allowing that to affect me internally.
Absolutely. And so before we wrap up with the conversation, I do want to give you an opportunity to let our family know how they can stay connected with you, how they can tap into your coaching work, and, support your current and upcoming projects.
So I am on all social platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook. Oh, I do have a LinkedIn too. So don't quote me on trying to keep up with all of them, but I be managing. Yeah. I did just dropped a 4-week complimentary coaching that I was doing, as it just was helping with self-developing with my skills and with the coaching. So that is on my platforms as well. The Calendly link is there for it as well. In my stand store, the link is in my Instagram bio. There's a self-care, and it was my Confidence Rebirth Kickstart workbook. That is also there for women it's for free. So those were free, free complimentary items that they can utilize as well. And like I said, I'm on all of the social platforms, and I'm just looking to keep growing and keep evolving in the next 2026 and moving forward. You'll be seeing my face, and like I said, I'm growing each and every day. It's not where it's like easy breezy for me. As I show up every day, it helps me even more, because I know I'm reaching out to other women. But those are my platforms, and my the stand store, and the workbook, and there's 2 pieces in there that is free. And, follow me on all the social platforms. I try to give out as much motivation and encouragement. And even if you inbox me and you need a word of some encouragement or something, I will respond to you. So
absolutely. And you guys, we'll be sure to link it in the comment or in the description below for you. So that way you guys have no excuse not to connect with my sis. And we will definitely be linking up with her for future projects. So this is not going to be the last time you see her in the community, okay? Once we welcome you in the Room to Breathe, honey, you are family. We go together, okay? And we're the good kind of family. We're we're the chosen family, okay?
Exactly. Yes, that's that community support we were talking about, like
that part. Period. Like that's how we gonna end it. Period. Yes, but I do thank you so much for your time today, sis. I appreciate you for just showing up.
You. Oh my gosh, this has been a pleasure. You just don't even know how graceful I am of this opportunity, because I didn't even see this, coming, to be able to be on a podcast. This is something for all you ladies. This is something that I haven't done a year ago, 3, 2, that this is all evolving and just coming more and more for me. So I just want people to just not be scared of change. And as I'm doing what I'm doing, it's sharpening me even more. And it's just a humbling experience to see the growth within myself and the different things that I'm doing now. It just really makes me really happy.
Yeah. Well, again, I am going to speak for everyone when I say thank you for showing up with so much honesty and grace and vulnerability. I truly believe that your story is a reminder that healing doesn't have a deadline, that confidence is reclaimed, not inherited, and that every single cocoon season has a purpose, even the ones that we did not choose, right? There's still a purpose.
That part.
Yes. So thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Anytime.
I really love this. I really love this. And anyone, please feel free to tap in. I'm here,
Absolutely. Well, we thank you so much. And family, remember that if today's conversation touched you, if something that Persephone said, feels like it had your name on it, go ahead and drop a green heart in the chat. That's our way of saying I'm healing, I'm growing, and today I'm making room for me. I want each and every one of you to remember that you are perfectly imperfect, that your process is purposeful, and no matter how long you've been surviving, you still have time to thrive. I want you guys to make sure that you stay connected and tap in with Persephone across all platforms at persephone.coaching. And if you want to dive deeper into her work, you can definitely reach out directly to her. Like I said, we will include all of her contact information in the description below. And don't forget, if you haven't already done so, head over to our digital home at theselfcareclub.org. Tap into all of the resources that we have. Check out the community hub for, access to other coaches like Persephone. Because again, we are healing in community, family. We're just simply here growing one breath, one moment, one day at a time. As always, I do encourage each and every one of you to keep breathing through the highs, the lows, and every moment in between. I want you to keep choosing peace, even if it feels out of reach. And know that here at the Self-Care Club, you will always be seen, always valued, and always supported. So don't be afraid to take up space, speak your truth, and make a little room for you to breathe. I love each and every one of you to life. And I am praying that your day is not just amazing, but aligned, intentional, and yes, on purpose, filled with purpose. This has been another Room to Breathe podcast, and I cannot wait to connect with you all again soon. Thank you.